Welcome back, you guys. Your boy CK. And before we get started, I want to say thank you so much for helping me get to 70,000 subscribers. I'm currently doing a giveaway, as I promised, on my Twitter, man. 2 free copies of Madden 19 on either console. All you got to do is go ahead and retweet the tweet and also follow me for your chance to win. So before we get started on the video, man, I want to make sure you guys know this is strictly my opinion. It's cool if you disagree with me, man. That's what the internet is for people being able to disagree and still be civilized. Now I'm going to be ranking every single NFL team from worst Madden team to best Madden team, and I went through each team's roster, every single position. I wanted to see if they had an average QB, an above average running back, a good old line. Every single position was factored into this ranking. So if your team is really high on this list, that means they're really well rounded. If they're really low on this list, they probably are a little bit top heavy, or they just don't have enough talent at every single position. With that being said, let's start off with number 32, the New York Jets. This is a team that went into Madden 18 last year with the worst roster in the game, but they still managed to put together a respectable record in real life. However, Madden, you need those high profile names. You need guys that are flashy. You need high overall players, and they simply just don't have that. Their highest rated player is strong safety Jamal Adams at just an 86. So this is easily one of the worst teams you can get if you're doing an online head-to-head game, so I advise you to stay away from them. Coming in at the number 31 spot, we have the Miami Dolphins. With one of the least dynamic rosters in the game, the Dolphins at least have a 90+ player in safety Rashad Jones. New wide receiver Danny Amendola is the highest rated skill position player. Ryan Tannehill only a 78 overall. He has to stay healthy, otherwise it's going to get even worse for the Dolphins, because Brock Osweiler at 72 overall is their backup quarterback. At the number 30 spot, we have the Indianapolis Colts, a team that actually has a really good quarterback. Might I even say elite, but that depends on whether or not he is healthy. And if he is, he also has some really good talent to throw to, man. T.Y. Hilton, one of the better wide receivers in the game. But all that being said, they don't even have one player at a 90 or above on their entire roster. So if you're going to use this team just because of Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton, you're going to have to go ahead and win a shootout, because you're not going to be getting stops with a defense like this. Coming in at our number 29 spot, we have the Buffalo Bills. This is a team with an elite running back in LaShawn McCoy and also 2 elite safeties. But honestly, that's where the good news stops when you're looking at this entire roster. Only 7 other players on this team are rated 80 and above, man. Their offensive line is not where it needs to be. Besides the safety positions and 1 cornerback in Tre'Davious White, their defense is struggling as well, man. This is a team you want to stay away from unless you really love shady. Coming in at our number 28 spot, you might be surprised to see this team a little bit low just because they have so many high profile names, but the Arizona Cardinals. This is a team that has over 4 great players, man. You know them: David Johnson, Patrick Peterson, Larry Fitzgerald, Chandler Jones, man. All of those guys are very high overalls, but this team just does not have enough depth to have them any higher on this list. Behind those 4 guys that I named, there's nobody higher than an 82 overall on their entire roster. And you also have to go in with the fact that you don't have a mobile quarterback. As a matter of fact, you have Mr. Check Down himself, Sam Bradford, so good luck throwing down the field. At number 27, we have another team that you might be surprised to see as low, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, I know they have AJ Green, a very good player, also Geno Atkins, another high overall elite, Tyler Eifert, an 89 overall, but that's kind of where the good news ends. Their quarterback Andy Dalton has been regressing quite a bit over the past few years. He's only in 77 in this year's Madden, below average, and there's only 9 other players who are 80 overall and above, man. That offensive line is gonna give you some trouble trying to move the ball. So this is another team that if you don't want to face any headaches, you might want to stay away from. At number 26, we have a team that I actually like in real life, and I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people, but we gotta see them do it first, because right now Madden's not giving them the ratings they deserve. And that is the Chicago Bears, with a rookie at quarterback who's only a 74 overall. It's going to be tough passing the ball with this team. They have a really nice running back core, some very nice wide receivers. Allen Robinson at an 87 overall is really nice. Trey Burton, who threw the Philly special, I like him a lot. But they have a below average defensive line, man. Akeem Hicks, the only 80 and above at that position, man. Linebacker, not that bad. Leonard Floyd, hopefully he gets his ratings up this year, man. Danny Trevathan, a solid user MLB. Cornerback could use some work, man. They have speed, but their overall is not where it needs to be. And Adrian Amos at the safety position is why they're higher than they should be, man. I think he's one of the best in the game. At the number 25 spot, we have a team who has a 99 overall player. I'm talking about the Denver Broncos. Despite being led by Von Miller, who like I said is a 99 overall, they're the worst overall team in the AFC West on paper. They do have 14 other guys besides Von Miller that are rated at an 80 or above, but still it's just not enough high-end talent, man. It's all pretty much average when you look at the rest of the roster, so this is not a terrible team to use, but it's probably not going to be too many guys as first option. At the number 24 spot, this one entirely depends on which quarterback you decide to use. I'm talking about the Baltimore Ravens, man. If you go with Joe Flacco, you might have a tougher time moving the ball in Madden, but if you use Lamar Jackson and that 91 speed, you smart. This is a team where its best player, Marshall Yanda, at a 92 overall, plays one of the least significant positions. Just like the Broncos, they have 14 guys at 80 and above, but it goes back to the quarterback position, man. One of the most important positions in the entire NFL, man. You need to make sure you got a good one. And in Madden, if Lamar Jackson stays at a 79 overall, sure, he'll be fun to use with that speed, but if he doesn't get playing time in real life, it's going to be tough to get his overall up. At the number 23 spot, we have a team whose quarterback is going to be starting a full season for the first time in his career. The San Francisco 49ers, led by who some call Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going to see just how he lives up to that name, and 83 overall. They also added a really nice cornerback in Richard Sherman. They have really good skill position players. Their tight end needs some work though. Still have a 90 overall at left tackle in Joe Staley, but the rest of the offensive line is average at best. Their defense is not bad at all though. They're just about average, except for at the left outside linebacker position. Like I said, Sherman at the cornerback spot, but besides him, there are no good cornerbacks on their team. Everyone is a 75 or below, and their safety spot besides Tart is just not looking good. So this is a team that has good players, but not the best depth. At number 22, we have a team that made so many moves this offseason. Obviously, they were going to get a big jump in Madden ratings. I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns. Led by quarterback Tyrod Taylor or Baker Mayfield, depending on who you choose. We have another quarterback controversy, but this team is actually really well-rounded, man. They have Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson Jr., both two nice Madden running backs, not to mention Nick Chubb, the rookie. You already know what their wide receiver core is looking like. Jarvis Landry at an 87 overall, along with Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman, is one of the better wide receiver cores in Madden 19, man. David Njoku has some really nice speed for a tight end, but at the left tackle position, they're struggling. You know what I'm saying? They have two 89 overall guys on the offensive line, which kind of levels out the terribleness of the tackles, but still, it's just average at best at the offensive line position, man. D-line looking pretty good. Myles Garrett, an 88 overall. Left outside linebacker Jamie Collins with 84 speed. Joe Schobert, who led the league in tackles last year. So their linebacker core, they didn't get the best ratings, but I think they're better than what their ratings say. Same with the safety spot, man. Some guys you might have heard of like Demarius Randall and Denzel Ward, the rookie, along with Jabril Peppers, man. These guys could definitely improve their ratings throughout the season, but they're going to have to prove it. So right now, they're going to be at the number 22 spot. At the number 21 spot, we have a team that has some very good players, but they also have a suspect QB. And I mean suspect in more ways than one. I'm talking about the New York Giants. Yes, I know Eli Manning won the Super Bowl 2 times, but he's a 76 overall, so it's going to be tough throwing the ball, even though you have a guy like Odell Beckham Jr., 95 overall, 94 speed, easily one of the best wide receivers in Madden 19, along with Evan Ingram, 90 speed at the tight end position. I'm pretty sure that's the fastest for a tight end. Saquon Barkley, the rookie, is some really nice weapons for Eli to work with if he can just get better. This team will find itself a lot higher on this list. Offensive line needs some work though. Only one guy 80 and above, so the fact that Eli can't scramble and your offensive line is where it is, it's going to be tough. That's why they're this low on this list, but they have some really nice players, man. Damon Harrison, snacks on the front seven, along with Janoris Jenkins, 88 overall, very nice cornerback, and Landon Collins. So they have really good players, but their depth needs some work. At the number 20 spot, we have a team who I think is probably the most balanced team we've seen so far. I'm talking about the Washington Redskins, led by Alex Smith, 84 overall, definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the top half of the NFL, man. Running back position not looking that bad, man. This is a team that has some pretty good talent, but like I said, they're pretty average at most positions, man. Jordan Reed, 94 overall, he got blessed because he's been injured the last couple years, but EA really loves him. That's what it looks like, man. Trent Williams at a 94 overall, along with Brandon Scherf at a 90 overall is the two bright spots of the offensive line, but besides them, it's not looking too good at that position, man. D-line needs some work. That's probably one of their weakest spots on the entire team. Linebackers is one of the brightest spots. They have 287 overall and above at that position, so it's definitely a good feeling if you're trying to use one of those linebackers. Josh Norman, you can never forget about him when you're talking about some of the better cornerbacks in the NFL, but the safety spot needs some work alongside DJ Swearinger. So another team that's very balanced, but like I said, very average at the end of the day. At the number 19 spot, we have a team led by one of the most polarizing quarterbacks in the entire NFL. The Tennessee Titans and Marcus Mariota, man. They gave him 88 speed, which is amazing for a quarterback, but only a 79 overall. I think he's a little bit underrated, but we got to go with what they gave him. Running back position, easily one of the best we've seen so far with Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis, both very nice options. Tight end Delaney Walker is the only player rated above a 90 overall, but this team does have really good depth with 17 guys between an 80 and an 89. Not to mention they have some studs in their front seven with Brian Arakpo, Jarrell Casey. So this is another team that's very well balanced, man. I could easily see a lot of people using this team. It's crazy how they're right next to each other even after all these years, man. Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in at the number 18 spot on this countdown, man. They gave him an 80 overall, which is not bad, along with 78 speed, something you can work with. But their bright spots on offense is obviously at the wide receiver position, man. Mike Evans, 89 overall, 88 speed, along with Deshaun Jackson, 93 speed, and also Chris Godwin, who has 91 speed. So one of the better wide receiver cores in Madden 19. OJ Howard with that 87 speed, very underrated. So this passing offense could be lethal, but then you look at the offensive line, you see only 280 overall guys and above in DeMar Dotson and Ali Marpet, so it might be tough protecting the quarterback. However, when it comes to getting to the quarterback, this is where this team excels. Easily one of the better defensive lines in the entire NFL, man. Gerald McCoy, JPP, Vinny Curry, and 95 overall Lavonte David. One of the highest overall linebackers in the entire game. Cornerback, they have Brent Optimus Grimes, but that's their only 80 overall and above in their entire secondary, man. Brendan Hargrave is only a 77 overall, CB number 2, and their safety spot is looking kind of putrid. So this is a team that you're going to have to score a lot of points if you're going to want to beat the opponent. At the number 17 spot, we have the Oakland Raiders, led by Derek Carr, an 83 overall quarterback with 82 speed. Very, very nice. And you already know about beast mode, man. They gave him 88 speed. He's an 85 overall running back. Their wide receiver core is filthy. Amari Cooper, Jordy Nelson, Martavis Bryant, Jared Cook with 85 speed and 85 overall tight end. So it's not going to be tough moving the ball with a team like this, especially with an offensive line like this, man. 86 overall Donald Penn, along with Kelechi Osemele and Rodney Hudson, both 90 plus players. But then right guard and right tackle needs some work, man. I still love that offense, and defense doesn't get much worse, man. Khalil Mack, the Mack attack, 98 overall, man. One of the top 3 players at his position, if not number 1, man. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Linebackers, very, very well rounded. Cornerback, they only have one guy 80 overall and above, and that's Rashawn Melvin, and their safeties are pretty average, so they find themselves right around that top half of these rankings, man. A team that I could see a lot of people using, like I said, just because they have a very good offense, man. This is another team that is very well rounded, especially on offense, but they have one really glaring weak spot, and that's on their defensive end. I'm talking about the Detroit Lions. At the number 16 spot on the countdown, Matthew Stafford, always known as having one of the strongest arms in Madden, 85 overall. Amir Abdullah, along with LeGarrette Blount and Theo Riddick, man. 3 guys over an 80 overall, man. It's not going to be tough moving the ball. Golden Tate the third, 89 overall, along with Marvin Jones Jr., easily one of the better wide receiver cores in the entire game, along with Luke Wilson at the tight end position, who has 86 speed, so not too shabby right there. Only 2 guys at an 80 overall and above on their offensive line. So when it comes to protection, that might be a little bit of an issue if you don't block a running back or a tight end. As for the defense, their D-line is just about average with a guy who's above average in Ziggy Ansah, but their linebacker core is where it really brings down the whole entire team, man. Jarrad Davis with good speed could be a decent user MOB, but they have nobody at an 80 overall and above at the linebacker linebacker position, man. Darius Big Play Slay, one of the best cornerbacks in the entire game, 94 speed, and they have Glover Quinn. So their secondary is good. One of the better teams in the game, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of people using them. Coming in at our number 15 spot, this is a team that a few years ago, they might have been number one. I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks, led by an elite quarterback in Russell Wilson, 92 overall, along with 86 speed. But this man needs some help. He cannot do it all on his own. Rashad Penny being his best running back option, just not gonna cut it, man. Wide receiver though, he does have some help. Tight end could use some work, along with the offensive line. Dwayne Brown at an 81 overall is the only 80 overall player at that position, man. It's gonna be tough protecting Russell Wilson, but he does have the speed. Their linebacker core is amazing because they have Bobby Wagner, top 3 middle linebacker in the NFL, 97 overall, 88 speed. Cornerback, they got a lot worse, man. They lost Richard Sherman, so their highest overall cornerback is Shaquille Griffin. But their safety spot is probably top 3 in the entire NFL, man. Earl Thomas III coming in at a 95 overall. Cam Chancellor, who did announce his retirement, but they still have him in the game. That's good news for you if you decide to use this team, man. Still a very viable option. At this point, any of these teams that I'm going to name are very viable options. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see a lot of people using these guys. They're not bad teams at all. Just because they're rated where they are doesn't mean you can't use them. This is a perfect example of that. Coming in at number 14, we have the Carolina Panthers, led by Superman Cam Newton at an 88 overall. Christian McCaffrey. Wide receivers could use some work. Devin Funchess, 89 speed, 82 overall, not bad at all. Torrey Smith, the speedster. What really holds them back and why they're a little bit lower than you might expect is because of their offensive line. Defensive line, definitely a little bit above average with Kawan Short, an 89 overall. Shaq Thompson, very good left outside linebacker. I think he's a little bit underrated. Luke Kuechly though, nothing underrated about him. Thomas Davis Sr. rounds out one of the better linebacker cores in Madden 19, man. Cornerback position though is where they struggle once again, which is why you see this team so low, but they have so many guys that are very high overall that you could justify using them in an online head-to-head game. At the number 13 spot, we have another team with so many high overall guys, but yeah, at some important positions, they're kind of struggling. I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, led by quarterback Patrick Mahomes, one of the strongest arms in Madden 19, but he's only a 77 overall. Kareem Hunt, a very, very nice running back, 89 overall. Wide receiver, you already know who they have. Tyreek the Freak Hill, 98 speed, one of the fastest, if not the fastest, wide receiver in Madden 19, man. Sammy Watkins, 83 overall. Travis Kelce, top 3 tight end, 95 overall, 85 speed. He's just a mismatch all day, every day. Like I said, man, this team has some high overall players, but their offensive line could definitely use some work with only 2 guys. Once again, 80 overall and above, man. Left side of the line is going to be tough to protect the quarterback, man. Defense, not bad at all. Chris Jones, 87 overall, is the bright spot of the defensive line. Justin Houston, though, definitely known for getting to the quarterback, 90 overall. But that's really it for the linebacker position, man. No one else really standing out. David Amerson and Kyle Fuller leading the way at cornerback, not terrible. The free safety is not very good, but their strong safety is. Eric Berry, 96 overall, one of the highest strong safeties in the entire NFL, leads to this team being one of the better teams to use in Madden 19. At the number 12 spot, we have a team that is pretty much make or break when it comes to the quarterback position. The Houston Texans, who when they have Deshaun Watson look entirely different than when they don't have Deshaun Watson, man. 82 overall, along with 84 speed. Very nice for the sophomore, man. Running back, above average. And Lamar Miller, 85 overall. Wide receivers with an elite guy and DeAndre Nuke Hopkins, 94 overall, 92 speed, 95 speed. For Will Fuller the fifth, man. Bruce Ellington and Braxton Miller, also speedsters, man. All their wide receivers have 90 overall speed and above. That's ridiculous. But hopefully you're not planning on throwing to the tight end when you use this team, because their tight end position is below average at best, man. 66 overall left tackle. I think there's only 180 overall and above on their entire offensive line. So Deshaun Watson gonna be scrambling for his life. As for the defense, they're boasting some very, very high overall players, and JJ Watt at a 98 overall. And of course, you already know who the other guy is, man. Jadeveon Clowney, 91 overall, 87 speed, one of the best outside linebackers in the game. Jonathan Joseph, who doesn't get enough praise. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, was added to the squad, which rounds out one of the best secondaries in Madden 19, man. The Texans, a very good squad. I could see myself using them a lot. We're almost at the top top 10 teams to use in Madden 19. But before we get there, we gotta give you guys number 11, and that is the Dallas Cowboys, led by Dak Prescott. As for the running back though, they have an elite guy in Ezekiel Elliott. There's really no other way to slice it. Wide receivers, they lost Des Bryant and they replaced him with Allen Hurns, who's a good guy, but I don't think he's a very good wide receiver number one. Hey, he might prove me wrong this upcoming season. Tight end, they lost Jason Witten. They replaced him with Jeff Swaim, so their pass catchers are not very good. I'm sorry. Like, if you're going to use this team, you're going to have to rely on the running game. And of course, Ezekiel Elliott is a good option, along with their offensive line, who is easily top 3 in the entire game. And 95 overall, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, 96 overall, Zach Martin, man, it's going to be tough getting to the quarterback against his team. So he'll be able to move the ball. It's just going to have to rely on the shoulders of Ezekiel Elliott and that offensive line. DeMarcus Lawrence, the sack machine, Sean Lee, a 96 overall, very, very good. Cornerbacks could use some work. They might get dotted up just because they don't have the highest overall guys there. And of course, their safety spot could use some work as well. A lot of these teams that I'm going to name in the top 10 could be interchangeable because they're just so good. Like, it was hard to do this top 10, and I don't want to piss anyone off, so just know that this is my opinion. I have to say that again. The Jacksonville Jaguars coming at number 10 pretty much because Blake Bortles is just not very good. He's only an 80 overall in Madden, which honestly is just about average. Nothing really to write home about, but they have 87 overall Leonard Fournette, and this team is one of the most well-rounded teams, especially on the defensive end. But once again, they face a problem where their offensive line is a little bit subpar, man. Only 2 guys 80 overall and above. But like I said, I think this is probably the best defense in Madden 19 and in the NFL. If you can just find a way not to make mistakes with Blake Bortles, you can see yourself winning a lot of games with this team. At the number 9 spot, we have a team who has one of the only 2 quarterbacks rated 99 overall. I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers, who really needs no introduction, but the roster behind him is showing more signs of weakness than in recent seasons. Only 16 other players on the roster are rated above 77. Their offensive line is very below average. Defensive line above average though. So if you can find a way to get to the quarterback and get the ball back to Aaron Rodgers, you might have an easier time than expected while using this team. At the number 8 spot, we have a team who has so much talent, man. I'm surprised they didn't make the playoffs last year. I fully expect them to this year. I'm talking about the Los Angeles Chargers, led by Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon. Elite running back right there with 89 overall, 92 speed, an elite wide receiver in Keenan Allen, 92 overall, 88 speed. The offensive line, not the best, but defensive line, one of the best, man. Joey Bosa, 90 overall. Melvin Ingram, 90 overall. 2 of the best at getting to the quarterback. And man, you also have a guy like Casey Hayward Jr. at the cornerback position, along with Jason Verrett. They just got my man's Derwin James at the strong safety position, who has amazing speed and amazing hit power, man. But their linebackers are really holding them back from being a lot higher on this list. But like I said, another team that's a very viable option to use, man. You can't go wrong with the Chargers. You just can't. Coming in at our number 7 spot, we have a team who I think had one of the best, if not the best offseason, and that is the Los Angeles Rams, led by Jared Goff, an above average quarterback. If you look at the stats, man, I think he's going to have an even better year this year. They have an elite running back in Todd Gurley II, and you also have really good receivers. Brandon Cooks, 95 speed. Their tight end position is kind of holding them back though, man. If they had an elite guy there, they would be even higher on this list. Offensive line, a little bit above average, man. Defensive line, probably the best in the game. Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh, 2 guys 94 overall and higher. As for the linebacker positions, another team that's struggling in that department, man. No guys 80 overall and above, but their cornerbacks, probably one of the top 5, top 3 in the entire NFL, man. Aqib Talib, 89 overall. Marcus Peters, 87 overall, and of course Nickel Roby-Coleman in the nickel, man. They have one of the best secondaries in Madden 19, which is why they find themselves so high on this list. At the number 6 spot, I think this is a team that might be in contention for the best offense in Madden 19. The Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Big Ben Roethlisberger, an 88 overall. If you're going to use this team, you're going to score a lot of points. It's going to be the other side of the football that might give you some problems, man. 96 overall, Le'Veon Bell. 99 overall, Antonio Brown. However, the defense is their only concern, man. They only have 4 players rated higher than an 82. Their linebacker core, once again, is a little bit suspect. Another team that I could see a lot of people using because they have an amazing offense. But once again, you're going to have to win the shootout if you're going to use this team. At the number 5 spot, we have probably one of the most underrated teams when it comes to Madden 19 ratings, man, the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins leading the way at quarterback, above average running backs in Latavius Murray and Dalvin Cook. Easily one of the best, if not the best wide receiver duo in the NFL with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, both guys with 90 plus overall speed. Kyle Rudolph, an 86 overall, above average tight end right there. Offensive line though, holding them back just a little bit, man. If it was any better, they could find themselves even higher on this list. Defense, probably top 3 in Madden 19. 84 overall, Daniil Hunter, along with Everson Griffin and Linval Joseph, makes this probably the second or third best defensive line. They also have a really good user MLB in Eric Kendricks. You always love 85 speed, man. Can't go wrong with that. Or Anthony Barr. Whoever you decide to use is going to be a great option. Cornerback, you have 92 overall Xavier Rhodes. You have 97 overall Harrison Smith, which makes for one of the best secondaries in the entire game, man. You can't go wrong with using the Vikings. And our top AFC team comes in at the number 4 spot, the New England Patriots, led by 99 overall Tom Brady. I don't really have to say much about him. You know when you're using this team, you're going to have one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. Julian Edelman, 88 overall, leading the way at the wide receiver spot, along with Chris Hogan, who has really good speed. Gronkowski, obviously 99 overall, the highest rated tight end in Madden 19. Other defense actually improved in my opinion. Trey Flowers, along with Danny Shelton, makes for an above average defensive line. Dante Hightower, very good linebacker, but that's really it when it comes to the linebacker position. Cornerbacks though, very nice duo right here with Stephon Gilmore and Jason McCourty, man. Both guys with 90 plus speed. Devin McCourty, 92 overall, free safety, one of the highest in the game. And then rounding it out with Patrick Chung at the strong safety spot makes this one of the best secondaries in Madden 19. So you'll be able to pass the ball effectively and stop the pass with this team. A very good option coming in at number 4. And now we are at the top 3 teams. And like I said, man, I struggled with this top 10. The top 3 was even harder. Number 3, we have the New Orleans Saints, led by Drew Brees. They have so many top level players, probably in my opinion the best running back core, one of the most underrated wide receivers in Michael Thomas, only a 91 overall, but this dude is just so consistent, man. His stats speaks for themselves. And they don't have too many below average positions, man. Everything is at least average or better, especially when you look at the defense. 95 overall, Cameron Jordan leading the way for the defensive line. And then at the linebacker, you have Demario Davis, 86 speed, 85 overall, very nice user MLB right there. Cornerbacks, you already know about Marshawn Lattimore, 94 speed, 90 overall. So this is another team that everyone can use and have success with them, man. They don't have any glaring weak spots, and most of their positions are above average. Once again, another team that I could easily see being the best team to use in Madden, depending on your scheme and depending on how you like to use players, man. I'm talking about the Atlanta Falcons, led by Matt Ryan, elite quarterback, 89 overall. Another duo which I think could be in that 1 or 2 spot when it comes to running back duos. Julio Jones, second best overall wide receiver in the entire game. Mohamed Sanu, Austin Hooper, 82 speed, not bad at all. Their offensive line above average, defensive line above average, man. Linebacker core is probably their weakest spot on defense, but they still have really good players there, man. They have Deion Jones, 90 overall, 89 speed, one of the better user MLBs in the entire game. Cornerbacks, they have Desmond Trufant, 93 overall, 92 speed. Robert Alford at an 85 overall, along with Ricardo Allen and Keanu Neal, makes for an above average secondary and easily one of the best overall teams in Madden 19. And last but not least, the defending Super Bowl champions, you kind of knew they were going to be there. Come on. The Philadelphia Eagles at number 1, led by Carson Wentz. Coming back from injury is going to be an 86 overall, one of the better quarterbacks in the game. This team is just so well-rounded, man. They just have good players at pretty much every single position. Offense, one of the most balanced in the entire game, man. 86 overall, Jay Ajayi, Alshon Jeffrey, a viable number 1 option. Mike Wallace, the speedster. Nelson Aguilar, one of the best tight ends in the game, who I think got very underrated. I don't know how Jordan Reed's a 94 and this guy Zach Ertz is a 91, especially if we're going off of last season, but hey, to each their own. The best offensive line in the entire game, 91 Jason Peters. Their only weak spot is left guard, and that's a 79 overall. Every other spot is 90 and above, man. That's just unbelievable. You're not going to have any problems protecting the quarterback or running the football. Defensive line, you're not going to have any problems getting to the quarterback or stopping the run because they have Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, both guys 90 overall and above. Linebackers is the weakest spot on this team. Right outside linebacker, the only spot less than an 80 on this entire defense. That's just unbelievable, man. You have two starting cornerbacks 80 and above with Jalen Mills, the Green Goblin, and Ronald Darby in 86 overall. Rodney McLeod Jr., 81 overall, not bad, just about average. Then you have 94 overall Malcolm Jenkins rounding out the entire team and one of the best teams, if not the best, to use in Madden 19. So there you have it, man. All 32 teams ranked from worst Madden team to best Madden team. Please keep in mind, this is only my opinion. Thanks for watching as usual. Thank you so much once again for 70,000 subscribers. I will leave a link to the tweet where I'm giving away 2 free copies of Madden 19. You don't want to miss out on that, especially if you don't have a copy yet, man. Don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy this and you want to see more ranking type videos. Please be sure to subscribe if you're new around here. And as for me,
gotta run when I hear the bird call. Yeah, hop in that thing and murk off, swerve off.